everyone, Darren and Sandy here from Trekking the Planet. Well, we've hit a major milestone. We passed day 100 on our Trekking the Planet journey. And so we wanted to take this time to reflect on what we've seen so far and also talk about what's coming up in the future. So another thing to talk about briefly is that sadly tomorrow we'll be leaving Southeast Asia. We'll be getting on a plane to Nepal, and so we'll talk about that a little bit. But we all want to talk about the great time that we've had here so far in Southeast Asia. So I wanted to ask Sandy the first question. Maybe you could review the itinerary so far for the last 5 weeks since we stepped off the ship.
So we left the ship that we took us from Sydney to Singapore on April 6th. And after spending a few days in Singapore, we took the train up the Malaysian peninsula, spent some time in Penang, and then continued by train to Ayutthaya, the historic Thai capital, and then took still another train trip up to Chiang Mai, the second city of Thailand. At that point, we then went by road, overland, to the border town of Chiang Khong, crossed the Mekong into Laos, where we spent 18 days. And that was primarily in the north part of the country. In the Phang Sa Li province, we trekked. We also did a 3-day river trip by boat, and then ended up in the historic World Heritage City of Luang Prabang, and bused to Vientiane, and then crossed the Mekong one more time into Thailand, and then back by overnight train to Bangkok. So I think it's probably about 3,000 miles or so overland in that 5 weeks, but it was wonderful. Saw so many different things, and it was just amazing. So, question for you, Darren. So, speaking of all those amazing things we saw and that sort of thing, what kinds of things do you see? Have you seen while we've been in Southeast Asia that maybe are culturally different or are taboos that you wouldn't find at home or in a Western type of culture?
Well, it's really hard to answer that question because Asia's not really a homogeneous culture. There's lots of different subcultures, and so we're here in Bangkok. Things are a little bit different, but for the most part, the one thing that struck me was people stay pretty much covered up, and so that's both men and women, shoulders covered, legs covered, So I guess I'm just not buying into that. We try to be culturally sensitive, but when it's 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or up to 40 centigrade with high humidity, and we're on a long bus trip or train trip, I just need to wear shorts. So we've been a little bit out of place in that way. Also temples, for example, when you're walking on temples, you're supposed to stay covered up, and we've largely followed that. So I think that was one of the big things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot again today, and I think we're looking forward to the changing climate.
Right. So maybe you could kind of, you've hinted at it already, maybe talk briefly about what we have planned going forward, and then maybe kind of a review on that.
So tomorrow, as Darren said, we're going to be flying to Nepal. This is one of our first major flights on the trip, and then we're going to land in Kathmandu, and then right away we're basically going to be off to the region of Mustang, a very remote region in the western part of Nepal, almost up on the Tibetan border. And we're going to be trekking there in that region, very culturally significant, was a former kingdom. Also, we'll have a lot of Himalayan mountain beauty, so we're looking forward to both those aspects. It's going to be a very long trek, 12 days, and by the time we get there and back, it's going to be over 2 weeks. So, not thinking we're going to have very much internet. I think we've done some research. It's not looking good.
The cell towers stop at the border with the Mustang region, so we may be able to do an SMS text message, but that's about it.
So if you don't hear from us again, don't despair. We'll be fine. But we're actually, one of the reasons we're filming this today is that we're putting some material in our next couple of newsletters to keep everyone up to date on what we've been doing, but it may not be about Nepal right away. I think we're going to try to review some more of Southeast Asia because there was just so much material from when we were there. But we will get to Nepal eventually. When we get back, the end of the month, we'll be back sort of in the Kathmandu area for a few days, and then it's off to then Tibet, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. So again, some really remote, really interesting places, and so there's a lot to do and see between now and July 10th when we actually hit Europe.
Okay, then question for you, what do you, of all of that, what are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, I think Nepal is huge because, well, I mean, you know this, and I think this is what we're trying to impart on everyone, is that for Darren and me, we were supposed to go to Nepal in 2001, except that we were supposed to leave a couple days after 9/11, and because of what happened in the planes being grounded, we couldn't go. So unfortunately we had to cancel that trip, and so we've been waiting 10 years to go. We actually, I think I talked about it 2 or 3 years before that, so I think we've been talking about going to Nepal since like 1998.
Yeah.
So we're really excited because it's something sort of unfinished business for us, I think, to go there and do this trekking. So I think that's really, really exciting. It's going to be wonderful, and we're looking forward to sharing all our experiences with everyone as we can get pictures and video out from the road.
Well, thank you for watching, and as always, you can send us an email at info@trekkingtheplanet.net, or you can update our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/trekkingplanet, or you can send us a tweet via Twitter, twitter.com/trekkingplanet. That's it for now, and until next time, safe trekking.
Bye. Thanks a lot for following us.